Okay, so now I'm going to make a pizza. I have cauliflower in here. Now all I did is I just boiled it, and then I put it on the sheet pan like this, and popped in the oven at 200 for a while to help it dry out. Then I put it in the refrigerator, so it adds more moisture back to it when you put it in the refrigerator, but it's just not that big of a deal. I'm not going to strain it with a towel or anything like that. I'm going to put it in the oven. It'll dry out in the oven. And all I did was just, smashed it up with a fork. So in here, I'm going to put, this is my crust, so I'm going to sprinkle in some garlic. I'm going to put in some salt. I have 1 egg. Just 1 egg, and I'm going to stir that in. And I have a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Oops, I just spilled some. And then the Parmesan cheese, you need a dry cheese to help dry out the crust. And then I'm going to add flax and chai blend. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of this flax and chai blend. And again, that's something else that helps dry out the crust. And I'm just going to mix that together real good. And then I'm going to put it on this parchment paper and spread it out, and then bake it. And yeah, it's wet, so when I'm going to bake it at a lower temperature. And also while I'm doing this, I'm going to try to even it out a little bit. Get it even so it bakes at a similar time. And then, oh, the dog and cat's fighting. On the edges, I'm going to push the edges up a little bit so it's not too thin and they don't get too burnt on the edge. And that's my cauliflower pizza crust. I'm going to turn it on. Let's go 300. And we're going to pop it in the oven and let it cook and let it dry. There's my cauliflower crust. I put it on this mini muffin cookie sheet to let it dry. And now I'm going to put it back on the pan. Turn my oven back on. So I let it cook for 50 minutes at a low heat to cook it, dry it out, brown it. Then I let it cool. It helps dry it out some more. And I use this sun-dried tomato pesto as my sauce. It's I don't know, 7 carbs for like a spoonful or so. And it's very flavorful, so you don't have to put it on real thick or heavy or anything. And it'll add a lot of flavor, just a thin layer. And it just has less carbs that I've found than a lot of different sauces and stuff. It's not particularly made, it's not a low carb, very expensive pesto. It's a sun-dried tomato pesto. It's just really good. A lot of garlic in it. And remember, there's cheese in the crust. And so I'm not going to add any more parm. And I'm going to have bacon. And this is Italian sausage. I made another recipe where I used Italian sausage, and this is the other half. So I'm going to put it on pretty heavy. And then that's pretty good. Pretty good. And now I'm going to add some cheese. There's garlic in the crust and the meat. There's pepper. I added some extra pepper. I am going to add some different kind of cheese though. You can do it any way you want, of course. I'm going to add some 4 cheese Mexican cheese. And yeah, I've heard people say you should grate your own cheese. That's probably a pretty good idea. Might do that someday. And there's my pizza. And back in the oven it goes. And I put the oven at 400 or so. And we'll give it a good 15 minutes and we'll see what we have. 15 minutes or so. Pull it out. And there you go. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Now I just wanted to remind you on the crust, I just boiled the cauliflower. Then I popped in the oven for like 15 minutes, let it dry. That was days ago. Since then I've been using that same crust or that same cauliflower to make cauliflower hash browns and other things. I need a bigger spatula. Or 2 spatulas. Now I'll let it cool off there. So I used the cauliflower to make cauliflower hash browns, and I didn't rinse it, I didn't grind it. All I did was boil it, chop it, dried it down a little bit, put it in the refrigerator. And then today you see what I did and made a really good pizza crust here. Now let's give it a cut. It should cool off a little bit, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. And pizza, it's very hot still. And here's the pizza. So with the cauliflower, I've been making cauliflower hash browns with it, and I just boiled it, chopped it up, put it in the oven for 15 minutes on a low heat, let it dry out. And then today I decided with the leftover cauliflower to make a crust, so you saw how I did that. And here's the pizza. It's still hot, and it's still pretty warm. It needs to cool off a little bit, but it is delicious. Thanks.